Alright, guys, we're back. GTA 6 is hiding a second location. Here's why. Let's get into it.
GTA 6 is hiding a second location, and in this video I will break down why this might actually be true. We'll go over the leaks from 10 years ago, talk about all the games that featured unique locations not visible in the pro materials, and cover everything that seemingly is pointing towards the inclusion of a second location. Without further ado, let's get straight into it, shall we? Ever since the inception of Rockstar Games for basically 3 decades now, Rockstar has had this weird hobby of giving us just enough world to admire, but not enough to truly ever be satisfied. With GTA 6, however, Rockstar seems to be going all in. In 2004, San Andreas dropped the biggest map in the series up to that point, and then on top of that, they threw in a surprise visit to Liberty City halfway through the game. Back then, this little vacation that we took from the sun-filled state of San Andreas to a snowy Liberty made San Andreas feel even bigger.
You know, I'm ashamed to say I still haven't even finished playing through San Andreas. I just been bullshitting in that game for years, using mod menus, trainers, spawning things in, wreaking havoc, using mods. I remember this trainer I used to have with the game a couple of years back, where I would just like mess with the gravity and just cause a whole lot of chaos. I spent an ungodly amount of hours with those mod menus. I need to play through the full story, but one day, hopefully before I turn 30.
That's what she said.
Then, with the release of Red Dead Redemption 1, they did it again on an even bigger scale when they sent everyone's second favorite cowboy into Mexico to basically run errands for a rebel army as well as the Mexican government itself, basically making him the first official CIA asset before the CIA was even a thing.
Are you sure about that?
A few years later, Rockstar did the same thing with Max Payne, with the inclusion of both segments from Panama as well as New Jersey alongside the primary setting of Sao Paulo. This trend continued even with the release of GTA 5, with its opening mission taking place within North Yankton. Now yes, North Yankton wasn't really that special, as it's quite the linear experience, but the fact that the landscape changes even for a single mission is enough to give us a memorable experience that feels even bigger than it actually is. This kind of map design was fully mastered with the release of RDR 2, where Rockstar basically created a world that featured mountains, plains.
Yeah, I think Red Dead Redemption 2 is like a new milestone to where it's like, yeah, we're at a new level of open world interactivity and dynamicness. I feel like RDR 2 is, I just said what I about to say just now, but I feel like that's when they really like, yeah, this is the GTA for the PS4, because the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, they never had their own GTA. The PS2 had 3. It had GTA 3, San Andreas, and Vice City. The PS3 had 2, 4, and 5. My bad. I don't know if you want to count Liberty City, episodes from Liberty City and Ballad of Gay Tony, but that's still technically GTA 4. PS4 never got one and never will. 5 is a port from PS3 and Xbox 360 to PS4 and Xbox One. And PS5 will be getting GTA 6. We're probably not going to get any other GTA on PlayStation 5. By the time GTA 7 is to be released, it's probably going to be a PlayStation 6 game. It might even land at the tail end of the PlayStation 6 life cycle, given how long these games are taking to make now. But
swamps,
anywho,
as well as desert terrain, which was all accessible to the player. Well, to John at least, as Arthur would basically get slimed every time he tried crossing the area of Blackwater. Now, this is where things kind of become interesting, as if we take a closer look at the mapping project done by Giannis, Rick, and a bunch of other gigachads who spent more time counting palm trees than most people spend with their families, one thing immediately stands out. The 0-0 coordinates of the entire map sit right in the middle of Vice City. And yes, I know that this means nothing in the grand scheme of things, as even Giannis himself
it's so disappointing that they even know that's where the 0-0 coordinates. How do you know that? How?
But this does leave us with a few options for the bottom right corner of the map, as well as the southern part under Leonida Keys. The most optimistic way of looking at this is that Rockstar is actually either hiding the Bahamas or the island of Cuba within those possible spots on the map. Unfortunately, the most likely outcome is that the map just ends where we think it does, and where the mapping project has rounded it off. This would most likely mean that Rockstar just suddenly decided to stop doing the thing that they've been doing for 20 years astray. Or, on the other hand, they are doing exactly what they've been doing and are saving up a big reveal for when the game actually releases. If we take a look at the leaks from 2000,
Bro really said if it releases. Alright, let me just read what's on screen. Any screenshots of GTA 6 or anyone talking about gameplay at this point is lying. The game has been in pre-production since 2014 and asset creation has just started. Big source of frustration and disagreement over the direction of the game. Lots of people had to fight to not make online the central focus. Thankfully, hoping to minimize online for Red Dead and GTA 6 if things ever end up swinging the way people want. Two protagonists, these are early leaks it seems, set in Florida and Cuba. Male protagonist smuggles drugs and female protagonists are contacted to stay. She reminds me of Leslie Jones, I know, but supposed to be completely dead-faced and takes no shit. Male protagonist Mexican, doesn't seem that way now. Jason just seems like a regular American white guy. Which we know he has a military background. Lucia seems to be more in tune with like the Latin community. She's Hispanic, clearly, but that doesn't necessarily mean she isn't American born. We don't know. We don't know.
Where we first got the reveal about the two protagonists being a male and a female, with the male being involved in smuggling goods from Cuba into Vice City and the female one being a cop. We can see the mention of Cuba predates any crazy online theory that we've received over the past 6 years. Rockstar might not physically include Cuba into the main map. Instead, they might opt for an approach that would be similar to the one that we were supposed to get in RDR 2, where you could have been able to take a ferry ride into Guam as John later in the epilogue. Or they might opt for an approach where you'll be able to fly a plane or drive a boat off map before a cutscene would play and load you into the game.
You know, as I'm looking at this right now, this RDR2, it seems to be a mission. I haven't gotten far into the game at all. I have a habit of just buying games. I'm barely playing them or never even launching them. But tell me this doesn't look like the Cayo Perico map in GTA Online. I see a parallels here to this and GTA Online. It looks like the Cayo Perico Island.
Cuba map, which would be quite similar to what we had in Scarface as well as in the Cayo Perico heist. And if you ask
there it is, he just said it. He just said it.
That the shortcomings on Guam will be addressed with GTA 6, especially as a tropical island paradise seems like the perfect getaway for Jason and Lucia if the Fast and Furious inspiration is to be believed. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised to even have Vin Diesel come in at one point to promote Cuban NOS for the low riders, or just talk about family in general.
Family.
But does GTA 6 really need Cuba? Is having a second location inside of a GTA game overrated?
If they even do have a second location, it's gonna be mission specific. You won't be able to go there long term. I mean, in free roam at will. And maybe, not maybe, more than likely, almost definitely, there's gonna be some additional maps for online, just like there was for 5 with the Cayo Perico and stuff like that. But again, those probably will only be accessible depending on what online missions you're doing. More than likely heists again, because they're probably not gonna just have heists in Leonida alone. So yeah, we're likely getting non-free roam maps in asset story mode in online for GTA 6 online.
Does it really impact the game itself at all? Well, the answer to that question is different for everyone, as for you it might not need anything else except cars, Vice City, and the freedom to do whatever you want. For others, it might need a lot more due to the long wait, but it might not need anything else except cars, Vice City, and the freedom to do whatever you want. For others, it might need a lot more due to the long wait, but for me personally, I like my landscape to be varied, dense, and have that feeling of being lived in even if I went there 1,000 times. Rockstar has done a good job with every single release that they have had, basically improving on things that people were complaining about with each new release. But now, it's time to combine everything that they've done into one big unified blob of features, map design, and storytelling. Once GTA 6 big unified blob of features.
I always talk about it whenever I watch the trailer, but this guy in particular, not to say that these don't look great, And this, especially this one in the back, because you really get to see his hair like loose, and the hair technology is so great. I remember somebody like zoomed in on this towel and like went off on the detail. Like you can actually see the threads. The what's the word? The thread. Like the yeah, you can actually see the thread on the towel, like the actual cloth threads themselves, and the detail in his hair and the veins and everything.
Design and
I would love to just actually watch the modeling process. Look at this guy's hair. Look at it. Look at the strands. You can actually see the light from here passing through it. I'm gonna talk about this every single time I see it. I've talked about it many times, and I intend to keep doing so. I don't remember ever seeing the tower like move dynamically. Maybe it will. I don't know. But what we see here is pretty great.
Once GTA 6 releases, it will be a little bit over 8 years since the release of RDR2, and saying this out loud makes me feel like I will need hip replacement surgery by the time GTA 7 gets announced.
My back.
But after 8 years of waiting for a new Rockstar release and a little bit over 13 years since the release of GTA 5, it's in Rockstar's interest to offer us a game that will basically fulfill all of our expectations. Now yes, we might not get Cuba as part of the full GTA 6 map, but that doesn't mean that we aren't getting another set of islands tailored after the Bahamas and the Bermuda Triangle, for instance. This is most likely what we will see when the game releases in full, but that doesn't mean that Cuba won't actually be in the game. Its presence can easily be hidden in the same way as Guam was. Now, leaks from GameRoll that came out in June of 2025 seem to suggest that Rockstar hasn't officially completed Chapter 4 and 5, and that both chapters were being redone. If you couple this with the fact that Lucia's voice actor basically vanished from the face of the earth after removing her social medias, we might legit be getting some kind of island paradise included either in Chapter 4 or Chapter 5. Now, I know that a lot of speculation has been made about Liberty City being a part of GTA 6, but if I had to bet on either Cuba or Liberty, my pick would have to be Cuba, as it's a more logical inclusion due to the proximity to
That, and we've seen Liberty City so many times that we're probably low-key sick of it. There's so many games that like the map is based in New York. All of the Lego Marvel games, Marvel Superheroes, Lego Avengers. What was the other one? Lego Marvel Superheroes, Lego Marvel Avengers. Those two were New York. Lego Marvel Avengers had some other like hub world maps too, but they were a lot smaller. Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 is just a mashup of different maps around Marvel. Yeah, a lot of the games and the Spider-Man games, of course, are New York as well. Pretty much every Spider-Man game you have ever played has been based in New York, because that's where he lives. He's just a New York guy, that's Spider-Man. But yeah, I feel like I've had enough of Liberty City, which is obviously New York.
But considering our luck, the best we get is a SpongeBob reference with a miniature bikini bottom and a Leslie Benzies image right next to J.E. Jokes aside, the leak from 2016 has re-emerged a few days back, so this kind of gives me major hope for the final release. Now yes, I know that this most likely is copium on my end, but either way, here's what the original leak has claimed. According to the original post, GTA 6 originally had two major regions, a modern reimagined.
Okay, so let's go over this, though I know he will. GTA 6's first leak apparently happened in 2016 when an anonymous dev accurately revealed that the game would feature a male and a female protagonist and said the following. It's crazy to think that that was 10 years ago. 2016 was 10 years ago. 2016 was a horrible year for me. All of those 2010s are horrible for me. Everything went to shit after 2014. But anywho, pre-production started in 2014. Crazy. That's right after 4 dropped. A couple months after 4 dropped. But then they would have been working on Red Dead Redemption 2, and that wouldn't release for another 4 years. But anyway, asset creation started in 2016. Maybe all of the teams weren't working on Red Dead, because apparently double the people that are working on 6. Apparently double the people are working on 6 than there were working on Red Dead. So I think it's like 6,000 people on GTA 6 right now, but it was like 3,000 something for Red Dead. So anywho, there was a disagreement over the direction of the game, expected, because it's like a bunch of different people giving their input. You'll only ever not have that problem when it's just like a solo dev. People had to fight to not make online the central focus. Makes sense. That's going to be their major moneymaker for the next decade plus. Set in Florida and Cuba. Yeah. The male protagonist smuggles drugs. I feel that that's inevitable. It's GTA. You have to have a bit of drug dealing. It's not just heist. Every form of illegality is a must because it's Grand Theft Auto. The female protagonist is your contact in the States. You know, I would not be against that. And that would imply that the male protagonist is in a different country. So it would mean that we'd switch between Cuba and America. That might be interesting, I won't lie. Rockstar's aiming for a mature tone similar to RDR2. Yeah, that's to be expected. But the character switch thing, I'm guessing they're going to do the Google Earth style zoom out that 5 has. Imagine moving from like Miami, Leonida, all the way to Cuba. Just imagine like it doing the Google Earth zoom out that you get when you switch characters in 5. Except now, instead of like traversing across a state, it's traversing across international borders or even a huge body of water. In this case, it would be the Gulf of Mexico / the Caribbean Sea. It wouldn't be the Caribbean Sea because that's like more around Jamaica and the other islands, which is where I'm from. It would be directly the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, I rambled a bit there.
The second location that was set in Cuba. The leak described 2 protagonists with each having unique storylines that would eventually intertwine. One character was allegedly part of an international smuggling operation, while the other one was a US-based contact facilitating logistics and movement between regions. This, even if scaled down, would make for one of the best GTA entries ever since San Andreas and GTA 4. And with the leaks from 2022 suggesting that we as the player would have access to money laundering fronts, it would easily be a dream come true for every single Scarface fan.
Hello to my little friend!
With Strauss Zelnick recently announcing that marketing for GTA 6 is kicking off in the summer of 2026 and claiming that no further delays will be happening as
Yeah, that much is very clear from the fact that the marketing is going to begin this summer. Because they know months in advance when they need more time, you know. So yeah, no more leaks. We're locked in now for good.
Confident of the November release, we are left with nothing but hope that Cuba, as well as any other location, will make it into the final game. One way that I personally believe we will be seeing Cuba is via DLC. After all, the Cayo Perico heist always felt like testing grounds for something more, and with the release of GTA 6 slowly approaching, it's only fair to assume there was testing grounds for seamless travel between large chunks of land, while saving our memory. Either way, just remember, even if Cuba isn't part of the main map, it doesn't mean that it won't be in the game. Hell, maybe Cuba is the friends we made along the way. Anyways, what do you guys think? Will we be seeing Cuba in the final release? Will Rockstar release Cuba as DLC for GTA Online? Or is the best we get just the Bahamas with the Bermuda Triangle mystery? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for taking time to watch this video, and a huge shout out to the 1,900 people that ended up subscribing. You folks are the best, and I honestly can't believe that we somehow managed to get to this number. Thank you to each and every one of you. Now, if you guys haven't already, please make sure to hit that like button and of course subscribe so that good luck might follow you on your future adventures. Anyways, stay silly, keep badging, and I'll see you all in the next one.
Alright, so I need to check out that video on different activities that will be in Grand Theft Auto 6. I think I did one a couple months back, but it's always good to, you know, see the new ones and how theirs is different and what's new, because there might have been new info and all of that stuff. But anywho, let me see what the comments are saying. Whoever thought, I'm guessing you meant to say thought. Whoever thought that the game shouldn't essentially be focused on online or heroes, it's going to be Georgia and a version of Cuba probably. The Georgia one is strong because I think there's a license plate in the game. Yeah, this is the video I'm doing after. The license plate is in the game. So I suspect maybe there might be a part of Georgia. I'm excited regardless, but my heart wants to read on Liberty City. They're definitely hiding a lot from us though. Yes, and we don't need to see everything. I just hope there's a lot of content. Most likely it's going to be something like Guarma for at least a couple of missions. I hope it's directly in the map like RDR1 with Mexico. That would be so good, but I'm 90% sure. Whew, for at least a couple of missions, because RDR2 has nothing to do with Tropical Islands, and they had one every title route of Rockstar. They always go somewhere in some missions. Yes, I was saying that if they do have another map, it's likely going to be mission exclusive. Boy, I might want to watch this too. Save that to watch later. Second trailer only covers the leaks. Hence, in the beginning, he says they're trying to fix these leaks. Everything put on the website was from the leaks. The leak shows an island. I can only assume they finished the island they couldn't from RDR2. Gorm up. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Scotland, nah. That's way too far. On the other side of the world. Kind of yawn is that. GTA 7 is never coming. It's confirmed that GTA 6 is the final, and that Red Dead 3 is speculated. Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna improve Red Dead 3 that much. And then even when Red Dead 3 drops, how are they gonna improve Red Dead 4? I feel like 2 is already so perfect. 3 is gonna be overkill, and then I can't see them advancing from there. But I'm rambling a bit much now. Hope y'all enjoyed, and I will see y'all in the next one. Goodbye.